Swift and silent. Tu lâches Tiba! Metascans.
I don't even know. I'm not even looking at my AP. What's going on, you guys? This is All Day 1, and I'm going to be giving you guys another Wayfinder build video. And this one is going to be for Niss. So this build video is, or obviously just from the intro alone, is going to be an ability power build. And this is probably one of the strongest builds that I think is out there currently for pretty much any character on this game. There are other strong characters that can clear mythic difficulty content, or not content, but mythic, not mythic, heroic difficulty on the mythic hunts. But Niss is by far the fastest and strongest character when it comes to like clearing speed. There are other characters who are also very fast at clear speeds, but I honestly am a firm believer that this is the fastest one, and this is the build that will allow you to just clear every boss fight within a few, not a few seconds, but you know, in under a minute, under 30 seconds, under 20 seconds, close to 10 seconds. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First things first is the stats that you want to prioritize. So the three main stats that you want to have is going to be ability power, crit rating, and magic defense. Now my crit rating is not where I want it to be. I want it to at least be around 61, 6200, so that way I'm at least around 20% crit chance. But I don't really want to sacrifice my ability power, so right now I'm kind of like working on trying to level my echoes so that way I can push my crit rating just from leveling the echoes alone, as well as leveling getting my weapon up in its awakening will probably also help me with that as well. Now the reason why you want magic defense is because magic defense correlates with ability power. So the more magic defense you have, the more ability power you gain, which is pretty nice because it's just like more defense makes you a little bit more tanky. Now, obviously, I have like no physical defense, um, but on the bright side, you don't really get hit too often. Now, I'm not saying you won't get hit, you just don't get hit as often. And then I still have a decent amount of health and an okay amount of resilience, so I'm not always like one shot. Sometimes I get one shot, sometimes I don't. But most of the time, you will end up killing things a lot faster than they will kill you, which is honestly really nice. Um, but yeah, you want to try to get to around 18,000 or higher in ability power, um, and you're gonna end up having so many different ways of increasing your ability power because you're getting different multipliers that's pushing your ability power to go from 18, 19, 20k to 50, 40, 50, 60k. The highest I've seen my own ability power go up to was 56,000, and honestly it probably could have kept going because there's buffs that have like an infinite stack. And then obviously crit rating is just crit rating. Crit rating is always going to have crit power. You don't really need to invest into too much. 3,000 is just a good stopping point, honestly. And then break power, you're rarely ever going to be able to break your enemies with your abilities. So I wouldn't even worry or focus at all on break power. Now for my armor sets, you want to have anything that gives you ability power. Pretty much anything that gives ability power. So right now I have the Scorn Belt, which gives 12% ability power and 6% crit power. Fell Hunter's Pants, which gives 9.33 ability power and 4.67 crit rate. And then the Hollowed Mask or Unhollowed Mask, which gives ability power and magic defense, which is really nice because those are two stats you need to help increase your ability power anyways. I don't have a better chest piece than this, so I'm just sticking to this for now, just because it has max health and magic defense. And then you're going to end up having the Unhollowed Gear, which gives a ability power and resilience. Now, if you don't have the Scorn Belt, you can just use the Shade Blood Belt, and if you don't have the Fell Hunter's Pants, you can use the Scarlet Blade Pants. So those would probably be easier to end up finding throughout the game versus trying to farm these from the mythic hunts. Now, the armor sets are done, which is also, just in case you guys didn't know, the armor sets is a brand new feature in the game, and it's honestly really nice. Next, we're going to go ahead and go over the accessories. So the accessories we are using currently is the Secrets of the Past set. So two of the pieces, two of the items, I believe it's the Amulet of the Silver Codex and the Seal of Eternity. Either the Seal of Eternity or Book of Names. Um, oh yeah, I think it's the Book of Names. Book of Names and Amulet of the Silver Codex. You have to actually farm from one of the mythic bosses. I don't recall where the Book of Names comes from, but I believe the Silver Codex comes from the one. It's either the Argent Hand or it's the Trials of Lingering Lights, I think is what it's called. Um, one of the, it's pretty much from one of those. And then Book of Names, the Book of Names comes from one of the Void bosses. So you have four Void bosses in the Mythic Hunt, and it comes from one of those four. Like I said, I don't recall exactly which one it comes from. I just remember that it comes from one of them. Plus, it's a level 38 item, so level 38 items only come from one of the four, or the four Void bosses. The Seal of Eternity, though, you can just craft that at the accessories vendor. And the reason why I ended up going with this set as well is because one, all of their stats is what you need, right? Except for the break power, you don't need the set bonus for break power, but the magic defense and ability power is really good to have. But they all come with ability power and magic defense as their static stats. So Book of Names comes with magic defense, ability power, and weapon power. And then you have the Seal of Eternity, or maybe a Seal of Eternity that comes. I don't. You know what? I don't remember which one comes from which. But anyways, um, yeah, the Seal of Eternity comes with crit rating, ability power, and magic defense, which is massive. And then the last one was the Amulet of the Codex. The Amulet of the Silver Codex. It comes with magic defense, ability power, and break power. So again, they all come with magic defense and ability power, which is again very, very huge. Now, there's another set that I actually want to end up getting, which is going to be the Argent Disciple set. And then there is one more, I don't exactly remember which one it was, but it comes with ability power. Oh, right here. The Primordial set is another one that I wanted to try. I guess now that I look at it, I don't really care for it because it has ability power, resilience, and then crit rating, ability power, break power. I don't really care for that set. But the other set I do want to see that maybe it'll be good is the Argent Disciple set. I've been trying to farm for the other two accessories, the Tablet of Forgotten Wisdom and Argent Sash. It's very hard. I don't exactly know what the drop rate is. But apparently they come from the Argent Hand, and the other one is again the Lingering Trials of the Lingering Lights. Um, but yeah, I haven't gotten anything. You just craft this one though. You can craft the Argent Hand. But the reason why this would be insane is because they come with all three set bonuses that you need: magic defense, crit rating, and ability power. And then this item alone has ability power, magic defense, crit rating. I don't know what the other two items have, but if it has two or three of the stats, that's just going to be even more insane, and your damage is just going to be astronomically higher. Now, My weapon, I use the Rose and Thorn. You can honestly use whatever weapon you want as long as the weapon has ability power, magic defense, crit rating on it. Obviously, a good amount of crit power is always going to be very useful. That's another reason why I'm using this, is because it has 1500 crit power, which is really, really, really good. Bloodsong is a pretty decent one as well to actually go with. If you like scythes, you just got to make sure you have one with 3 attack slots. So that's something I'm trying to farm for, is to get one with 3 attack slots, because of the fact that it heals you. Wheel of Pain can heal you, which is a nice feature to have. Um, the what is this called? The Maiden's Rhyme is okay to have. You get two different defenses plus a lot of magic defense, which is really nice, and a lot of ability power and a decent amount of crit rating, but you get a low amount of crit power. So if you really want to give up the amount of crit power you're gaining from this, then you can, especially since you're not really building towards crits. It's still a pretty good option to have. A Knight's Edge, I'm not really a fan of. You get a really low amount of crit rate, a decent amount of ability power, and a good amount of magic defense. Um, and then the other one was the Windmother's Fang, which is really good for the ability power increase and the crit rate, but you don't get magic defense, which is unfortunate. Instead, you get break power. And for this, you don't really need the break power like almost ever, because you're never going to be able to break the enemies. And then Epitaph is also pretty good as well. The consumables I'm using right now, I have the Greater Blood Crystal Ichor, which gives physical and magical defense increased by 35%. So you're just basically buffing your magic defense, which is going to end up buffing your ability power. And then I'm using Empowered Ancient's Tier. Every time I do an ability attack or damage with my ability, I deal an additional 25% damage based off of the magical damage I've just dealt. So that's also really good to have. For my echoes, I pretty much went all in on ability power and some crit rate, etc., etc. As you can see, I have Tiding, Deceiver, Dire Prophecy, Codex Sage, and Archon Commander, and these all benefit me in terms of ability power. And then I have Commander Rigor, which gives me magic defense. So any defense slots you want to just put anything with magic defense. And then I have Mythic Truth, and so you can get the Mythic Truth from farming the Trials of Lingering Lights again on the Mythic Hunt portal farm. And then I have Hollow Husk, Talon, and then I have Hobgoblin, just because I have no more cross echoes with ability power. That's fairly useful. And then I have Foul Wretch for my magic defense, Shroud Stalker for more magic defense and crit rate, Ember Shoal for the ability power, which I need a higher level version of, as well as the Goblin Seer. This gives ability power and magic defense. And then I have Worm for the resilience and magic defense right there, and the Knight's Maul for the ability power and break power. Now for my boss rush echoes, I have Dread Legion, the Atrak, the Deathless, basically the Reaver King, and the Kolar, the Beastmaster. Now you can replace the Beastmaster one with the first Echo. I personally just don't really care for it. You can do that, or you can go, if you wanted to be a little bit more safe, you can have the Broodmother. That one's also pretty nice to have. Or you can go with the, again, you're not going to be breaking anything, so having the Marl is not going to be that great. Argent Hand is okay, but you have to use the weapon ability, so you don't want to really use daggers. You need something that's going to be able to charge up a lot faster, because daggers, it takes a while to actually build up the dagger's weapon ability. But the first is probably going to be the next best option, because all you have to do is double jump. Otherwise, you can probably use Sliver. I personally don't really care for this, but what's actually nice is when you use your dash attack, when you're using Sliver, it automatically pops the invisibility and allows you to do 500% of your weapon power damage as a physical attack when you use your dash attack. But I think it only procs off of one enemy, so I don't think it's going to hit everything that you just hit. Trickster is also really nice as well. It's a pretty decent debuff to the enemies. And then for my last boss rush echo, I have Equilibrium. The reason why is because that extra 30 stamina is going to be massive because you need to be dodging within your rotations, so that way you're proccing Umbral Aura. Umbral Aura is going to also be a massive DPS increase. For my abilities, I have 3 points into Shadow Step, 3 points into Vengeful Shade, and 1 point into Umbral Aura. The reason why I have 1 point only in Umbral Aura instead of 2, I don't care for the piercing damage for it, although it is a lot of damage. You want that recharge you mainly just want it for the recharge, otherwise you don't really need to put any points in this. You want it for the recharge because it's just going to allow you to upkeep your DPS all the time with Shadow Step. And then same thing with Vengeful Shade. The reason why you want to max this out is so you can do the slam attack, or when you do your slam attack you get another charge of Shadow Step. And then obviously Shadow Step, you want to max this out because your damage is always constantly ramping up. The more you do damage and the more orbs the innervation orbs you pick up, you build up more damage over and over and over and over. And the innervation orbs stacks up 5 times and gives you about 5% damage increase or ability power increase. And the thing is, there there's a note, or in your affinity you're going to end up, I'll show you in a second, but you're going, instead of it being a 5% increase per innervation orb, it's going to be a 15% increase to each innervation orb you end up picking up. So having that ramp up is going to make having this level 3 even more important because you're always just doing 15% more damage constantly over and over and over. So the rotation basically goes do Shadow Step twice and then use Umbral Aura. As soon as you use Umbral Aura, you dodge, Shadow Step, dodge, and then Vengeful Shade, and then use Shadow Step, and you might be able to use Shadow Step twice based off of how many times you picked up Innervation Orbs, and then hopefully you'll have Umbral Aura back because of the Innervation Orbs that you picked up, and then you just keep that rotation going back and forth, back and forth. And then you basically don't need to put any points to the Gloom Shroud because you're rarely going to be using your ult. Obviously, you'll use your ult if you have it, but you're going to end up killing things faster than you'll be able to charge your ultimate. Now for my affinities, I went 16 into Instinct and 25 into Focus and 0 into Discipline. Now the only way you're going to be able to reach this amount of your points into your affinity is if you have your Niss at 4 stars to 5 stars. So 4 stars, you'll get the right amount that where you're gonna be able to put points into each. I believe you get points for Wayfinder ranks as well. Actually, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure you get some points for it as well. Um, but yeah, so you get 1 point for every awakening you get, and then I believe you get some points for Wayfinder ranks as well. So you'll end up having enough to just max out focus and instinct. Um, if you don't have enough to max out focus, or the reason why you want focus maxed out, regardless of whatever you are, if you don't have heroicness or ness even close to 1 star or whatever, and your Wayfinder rank is still low, you still want to focus or have focus maxed out because this right here is very important. Um, Triples the amount of ability power gained from innervation orbs. So you're going from 5% per orb to 15% per orb, and that's 5 stacks. So without this, you're maxed at 25%. With this, you're maxed at 75% increase in your ability power. So it's a massive damage increase. And then the reason why you want this, at the minimum you want this, is because you get a 2% increase in ability power per Lingering Shadows. And the thing is, I don't even think Lingering Shadow has a limit. I think it's a limitless buff, but the Lingering Shadow buff only lasts for like 3 to 5 seconds. So just keep that in mind. But you can every time you apply Lingering Shadows though, Lingering Shadows resets. So it's very, very, very useful to have. And then you want to have Recurring Shadows because you have a 10% chance of applying a lingering shadow again whenever you use abilities, and you're always using abilities. And then this also gives you a 5%, well, that's an innovation orb. Getting innovation orbs gives you a stack of lingering shadows. This is not that important at all because you're never using your ability or weapon powers. But if you don't have enough points to get recurring shadows, then just put your points into here because more weapon power is just more weapon power in general. It's fine. But yeah, this is the ideal affinities. Now, for the one that everybody is probably curious about is your talent tree. So you want to have wave function collapse, quickening innovation, overwhelming arcana, and bountiful innovation. So this is the way you're going to end up going. Again, this is if you have 30 Wayfinder rank points. You have to have 30 in order to get all 4 of those nodes. So you go up from the left side where the Havoc side is, go straight up and get Quickening Innovation, and then you're going to go ahead and go across here, get to the Lightning Bolt for the Echo Capacity increase. You don't really care for this one. You don't really care for any of them, to be honest, but you have to collect this. And then you're going to go down to the Ability Power, and then you're going to go up and get the Overwhelming Arcana. Overwhelming Arcana is going to give you a 5% increase in your ability powers, and it stacks up 5 times, so it's a 25% increase to your ability power as well. So you're getting even more ability power increase. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and go down, work your way over here to Bountiful Innovation. This is very important because every time you use an ability, you have a 50% chance of creating an Innovation Orb. Creating an Innovation Orb allows you to do more damage as well as having that cooldown for all of your abilities being reduced by 20%. So you collect 4 of these, your cooldown is pretty much done. Even though it's 80%, your cooldown is pretty much done. So even 3 of them, your cooldown is practically finished. Now, after you've done all that, you're going to go ahead and go to the right side. So you're going to get the node in the middle that gives you 108 ability power and that plus 2 additional Wayfinder Echo Capacity slot. And go down, or go to the ultimate generation, go down again here to the weapon power, into the lightning bolt, down to ability power. The reason why you go down and up is because you get the ability powers here instead of whatever you get here, and then you'll end up collecting wave function collapse. Wave function collapse is massive because you get a damage increase. I don't know exactly how much damage. It could be a 10% damage buff, or 15 or 25, whatever it is. It's still it's just a multiplier, a damage multiplier. It's for all your damage in general. It's not just for ability power increase. It's a raw damage increase, which is by itself is already pretty massive. And then or you can get a cooldown refresh, so you can refresh all of your cooldowns, which is also going to be huge. And then you also can get an increase in speed and stamina, which is okay. It doesn't really matter too much, but you're really just wanting to bank on getting that damage increase or that cooldown refresh. And then you'll end up having 1 point left, so you just put that last point right over here so you can finish this triangle over here. So it's, these stats are just increased times 2. And that is pretty much it with this build. Hopefully this helped you guys. If it did, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, concerns, let me know down in the comment section as well. Again, like for some of the accessories, I will end up finding out and I'll post it in the comments or in the description somewhere about it. If you want to see like a Grendel build, because I do have every character at level 30. As you can see, I ended up leveling pretty much everyone within a few hours of just farming Wormwood on story difficulty. But yeah, I'm pretty much like working on Venomous and Grendel a little bit more actively. And somewhat Kairos. Everybody else is kind of just like sitting. Like I haven't even put my affinity points on Silo yet, but everybody else is kind of just sitting there. Grendel and Venomous are the closest to being the next ones finished. So if you want to see a build video on them, Just be sure to be on the lookout for when I do post. I do also stream on Twitch as well, all day, any day one. So if you want to just stop by and see that, you can as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it with this build video. If this helps you guys out, let me know. And that is pretty much it. Have a good day, good night, and peace.